Being a single mom and doing it all by yourself is brutal. Learn the brain and energy tools to get back to your center and overcome your challenges. Welcome to Single Moms Doing It All. This is your host, Muriel Felous. And today we are continue the conversation about self-sabotage and putting an end to it. This is what we talked about in our coaching session last week, the week before that in the membership. We did a whole mini workshop on that. And I wanted to share some information that is relevant to you and your teen about one very important point that we covered in the class or the workshop. To me, it's the key to many things, but it is really a powerful key to putting an end to self-sabotage. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I also recorded a video that I'm posting on YouTube. If you want to go and check it out on my YouTube channel, Muriel Felous, and to also talk about this notion of putting an end to self-sabotage and how to not train ourselves to actually do something that we don't want to do. Before I do that, I wanted to let you know what's going on in my world, because I'm sure you've noticed that I was absent last week. And I'm going to tell you why today. So as you know, we are in the COVID pandemic. We also are in my house getting ready to move internationally. So there are a lot of moving pieces, and I felt myself so overwhelmed with what I had to do and preparing the YouTube video, uploading the workshop on replay in the membership, and self-sabotage. As you know, every episode when I cover a certain topic, it's really present in my life, and somehow maybe it's going to be present for you too, because you are actually listening to the podcast. So on some shape or form, you resonate with that topic of self-sabotage. I found myself incapable of recording this episode. And I listen to how I feel. I want always to produce the highest vibrational material for you, even if it's in the podcast. So I refrain myself from recording if I'm not emotionally and vibrationally aligned. And that's what was going on. I could not bring myself to record. And I guess it was a form of self-sabotage, maybe. I'm not sure. But I was extremely aware of what we're going to talk about today, which is my emotions. Because just before we self-sabotage, whether it is you do the thing you don't want to do, like if you are working on losing weight, you go to the fridge and you eat that thing you're not supposed to eat, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do and you choose to do something else. For example, if you're working on exercising, you decide to sit and binge watch something on Netflix. Or if we're talking like one of my clients in the membership was struggling with taking action on her business that she's developing, and she was procrastinating. So in that case, you also don't do the thing you were supposed to do, and you choose to do something else, whether it is going out with friends or anything else. Just before you do that thing, you feel a certain way. And that feeling is, of course, the result of a thought, but we're not going to go deep on the thought level today. We're going to talk more about the emotional side, because what really happens is that you feel something that you're trying to avoid. And because you try to change your emotional state, to change the way you feel in your body, you pick the activity or the action that is available to you at the moment to try to change your emotional state. And that comes from a preconceived idea, maybe, that, and it is something, frankly, that we've learned in society and that we've been taught somehow, willingly or unwillingly by our parents, that certain emotions are not okay, certain emotions which are uncomfortable are not okay, especially here in America and somehow in Europe too. When I was living in Europe, the discomfort is not very well, it has a bad rap. And today I want to tell you that discomfort can be your friend. For example, usually you start really making big changes when staying the way you are is more uncomfortable than changing, because we know that our brain doesn't want change, it doesn't like change. Change is threatening and it's a survival thing. So when staying the same, whether it is about, let's say you need to lose weight, or you need to exercise, or you need to learn something, in order to have a better career, or you need to develop a business because you want to do something you love, when the uncomfortable feeling about staying the way you are is stronger than the uncomfortable feeling that is attached to changing, that's when you take action. And in that way, discomfort is your friend. Now, there are other instances where there are emotions that are not very comfortable that we were taught to avoid feeling. And let me give you one that is very prevalent with our teens today, especially with the way that the pace of life is today and all the technology that they have access to: boredom. Boredom can actually lead you to addiction. Boredom, in some cases, like some of my clients, lead them, and frankly, I experienced that the other day, I'll tell you about it, lead them to not being able to lose weight. And I was reflecting on that last week, and I was in front of watching a movie on Netflix in the evening, and I felt myself bored and restless. I felt that I had the urge to put something in my mouth. So it's excellent for me as a coach to consciously experience that, because then I know how my clients feel and I know how to help them doing exactly what I did, which is I didn't go to the fridge. And to be fully transparent, sometimes I do. But because I was working so strongly on self-sabotage and I also need to lose weight, frankly, I decided not to go. And I decided to be resourceful and to find a way to stay with the boredom and to live in it. So, where in your way of parenting do you give the message, do you transmit the message to your kids, maybe, that some emotions are to be avoided? Is boredom to be avoided? I know in my family when, for example, my son comes and say, I'm bored, sometimes I tell him, go do something you like. But the real power is to answer, and what's wrong with being bored? nothing is really wrong. We have all these range of emotions. It doesn't mean we need to live in it, but experiencing them is also a lesson. So, what could be good with being bored? Ask yourself these kind of questions and ask them. And of course, I'm sure their first answer is going to be nothing, but continue asking. What could be good with being bored? What could be born from being bored? Because if there are any emotions that are not supposed to be felt, then that means you're going to take action right away to avoid feeling them. And sometimes it will play against you. Like if you procrastinate on something, in most cases, the thing that is under the procrastination is fear. And there may be different kinds of fear. What if I'm not enough to succeed? What if success isn't for me? What if what I want doesn't exist? What if what I want isn't possible? What if it's true for other people but not me? What if we can't do it now because COVID is there? And you can continue with your scary what ifs. And you can actually start writing a list. When you go and you know you need to work on something and you can't bring yourself to work on it, start investigating. Even if you don't know why, you can take a piece of paper and say, okay, my thought about that is, start writing. My thought about that is, and you do that until there is nothing else that comes on paper. And dig a little bit. You may write the same thought 3 or 4 times. I always, when I work with clients and in the membership, we time stuff because we can give up way too easily and too soon, and the treasure is in digging. So start sending the message to your kids that a certain level of discomfort is not always bad. A certain level of, I need to do that, but I don't want to do it, I don't like it, I don't have the desire, I'm not motivated, anything that is not very nice to experience in your body, maybe there is something under it that you need to investigate. Maybe you need to just, even if there is nothing to investigate, just going into your body and feeling the feeling, because the feeling that is repressed, if you suppress the feeling, it's like putting it under the I have the word in French, the rug. At one point you're going to walk on it, it's going to hurt, especially if those are pieces of glass. If it comes from wounding or really strong fears, it's going to hurt. It's going to come back in your face when you expect it the least. So what if you can feel that feeling in your body and really let yourself feel it, even if it's not pleasant at all, until you get to the other side of it and it flows out. Even if you have to say, let's say you're mad, I'm mad because, and you start going with all the reasons why you're mad. Ask yourself why, at least 5 whys in a row. So you dig layer by layer. And maybe you're going to touch a nerve and you're going to say, aha, that's what's really going on. And then this is your point of power. You can work with it. So really, I use the word really a lot today. Did you notice? I really want to make sure you get it. It's important. Make sure that you start telling your teens that sometimes there are certain emotions that need to be experienced to get to the treasure that's under it. And boredom can be one of them. Fear can be one of them. Confusion, because sometimes we procrastinate and we're not clear on why. Confusion. I am really confused about that matter. If I knew why, I would say that. Or I am confused because, and what else? I am confused because, and what else? Just investigate and be free with yourself to let the answer come, because you have all your answers, your teens have their answers. It's just a question of wanting to go through a process that is not yippee, hooray. It's not like that. But it's full of gems, and it's where the treasure lies. So that's all I wanted to say today. I wanted to bring your attention to what do you feel, and do you try to get rid of those uncomfortable emotions right away? And in that case, you're going to rush toward the first thing that's going to come to your mind, and it's not always the one that's going to serve what you consciously want. Like, oh, I don't feel like going exercising. I don't feel like it. What if I was going tomorrow? What if instead I was doing XYZ? No. Even though you're not comfortable, even though you're not motivated to do it, put your tennis shoes on and go walk and see if the discomfort is going up when you walk or it's going down, and start paying attention to your thoughts. Really let your kids know emotions are not to be suppressed. They are to be experienced, not to linger in it, but they are to be experienced. They are like the colors of a rainbow. When you make a mix with all of it, it creates a beautiful result. If you want to go deeper on self-sabotage and really, because when you start doing that, you're going to be able to step into your power just before you do the thing you don't want to do. But if you want to go deeper and you want to do all the exercises that we did, go check out the membership. It's there, it's on replay, you can do it anytime. And of course, my members come to me with questions all the time, even when they do things on replay. And I'm going to start having a Q&A session every month where I answer what is sent to me. Or if people want to attend live, where I answer their questions about a replay of any coaching session, or their questions about something they're struggling in life. And we may end up doing tapping on the spot. You may end up sitting in the transformation seat and get coaching from me, like customized to your problem. So if that's something that's of interest to you, go check it out on my website, singlesmomsdoingitall.com. And don't forget to check out the video I just did on YouTube. That's it for today. Go and feel your life. We're here to experience. That's the main goal. So I hope you have a wonderful experience, and I'll talk to you next time with another episode. Bye for now.